Pleasure to bring up this next guy. We've worked together many times, very recently in Long Island. Worked clubs and colleges all over the country. Put your hands together for Ted Alexandro. Give him a big hand.
Yes, indeed, man. Good crowd. All right. Feeling good? Looking good. Smelling good. I'm 26. I'm single. Not dating anyone. Thank you. Occasionally, I'm asked the question, so what are you, gay? Which bothers me, not because I dislike gays or think there's anything wrong with being gay, but why does it immediately have to be that? You know, Batman, Superman, they were single. Did you ever think of that? I might be a superhero. Maybe the demands on my time are such that a relationship, as much as I'd like one, is out of the question right now. Maybe my love for this great metropolis supersedes whatever petty need I have for intimacy. So I come from a big family, 1,000 people. Actually, no. I have 7 people in my family, and I have good parents, loving people. They're right here. Hey. 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 Yeah, but they had their rules, you know, restrictions, things we weren't allowed to do. For example, we weren't allowed off the block. We were only allowed up to Mr. Grassi's house. That was the cutoff point. When you get to Mr. Grassi's, you gotta come back. And as a result, I really began to kind of resent Mr. Grassi. I'd see him sitting down there by his house, I'd be like, you bastard. You little prick. Like if he didn't live there, I'd be roaming the earth. There'd be no stopping me. And he was a nice old Italian man, you know. He was like, hey, Ted, it's a beautiful day, huh? I say, yeah, well, it is on this side of your house. I've never been on the other side, so I can't really say for sure. I remember we'd go up to the older kids, we'd be like, psst. You been past Grassi's? How is it? What's it like over there? And they'd never tell you. It was like torture, like they were sworn to some sick code of secrecy by Grassi. And you'd see them playing down there. It was like they were in heaven. They were in slow motion down there. Torture. I remember the day that I finally crossed the border. Past Grassi's. Best day of my life. I ran like the wind. Mr. Grassi smacked me on the ass as I passed by. Attaboy, Ted. I glanced back, wondering why the hell he just smacked me on the ass. But I just kept running, thinking somehow I strangely enjoyed that. And it's probably just part of the initiation process. So I frolicked around for a while, drank the juice of the berry. Thank you. And I went up to Mr. Grassi. I said, you know, it's even more beautiful than I ever imagined. And he said, Ted, you had the power all along inside of yourself. So I glanced back at the other kids who hadn't crossed over yet, and I said, I guess we'll just let them figure that out for themselves, huh? He smiled, he said, they have to, Ted. They have to. So I shook Mr. Grassi's hand, I crossed back over to my side, and as I was walking away, he called out, he said, Ted, one other thing. I said, sure, what is it, Mr. Grassi? He said, when you do play down there, do like you in slow motion. it makes the other kids jealous. Yeah. Mr. Grass. Yeah. I'm not that financially savvy, you know? Like if people say the market's down, I'm like, where will we get our milk? Work together, everyone. We'll make it through. And married people will save movies for each other too, so that they can only see them together, right? Because I was out with my married friend the other day. I'm like, dude, you want to go see Lord of the Rings? He's like, I can't. I'm saving it for Nicole. I'm like, saving it for Nicole? Like, I didn't ask to see your cock. It's just a movie. That you can save for Nicole. I like traveling around New York, man. The subway's the best way to get around. I got stuck in the subway 2 years ago. I guess it was 2 years ago when we had the blackout. 2 hours, man. 2 hours for it usually only takes an hour and a half. Conductor got on, ladies and gentlemen, there's been a citywide blackout. We urge you to remain calm, do not panic, and God bless us all. I don't think the conductor usually blesses us on this line. A couple of passengers got a little panicky. One woman was like, you know, if we don't get out of here soon, nobody's going to be there to pick up my daughter after school. I was like, yeah, I know what you mean. If we don't get out of here soon, I'm going to lose the free transfer on my Metro card. We all got stuff going on. But the weirdest thing about it was about 5 minutes after it happened, a Chinese lady came through selling flashlights and batteries. I was like, holy cow, how did she know? Must have been an inside job. A lot of sad stuff happening in the country lately. The hurricane, right? You know who I feel badly for? Girls Gone Wild. Where will these girls go wild, everybody? Think about it. They have been displaced. And that is tragic. They name hurricanes alphabetically. So they were up to K, which is why they chose Katrina. I think they should have just went with Hurricane KKK because black people got fucked. It took Bush 4 days to go down there, right? Black people are angry. I'm just saying, man, 4 days. Shit. It's a good thing the World Trade Center wasn't up in Harlem. Might have affected the schedule a bit. But people have been giving. That's good, right? Athletes donate a lot of money, but they always make it contingent upon their performance, right? They'll be like, for every touchdown I score, I will donate $1,000 to the relief effort. It's like, thanks a lot. While I'm clinging to life on my roof, I'll be sure to root for you to have a good game. Maybe you could just send the money. It's a bit of a crisis. I don't know if I can hang out until kickoff. I think they should give hurricanes Islamic names. You know? Just to reinforce stereotypes and make it seem more ominous, right? I mean, you might take your chances with Hurricane Katrina, but if Hurricane Abdul's coming, you pack up and get the fuck out. You are not going to see what happens with Hurricane Ahmed. Pack it up and hightail it. Problems in the world today. Terrorism, still a problem. I don't like the rainbow terror alert system that we have in New York. The rainbow. They used to symbolize magical things like a pot of gold or homosexuality. Spain just legalized gay marriage. Did you hear that? They're going to celebrate with the running of the gays through the streets of Pamplona. It's going to be magical. Bush doesn't like gay marriage, right? Doesn't support it. I wouldn't be surprised if he declares war on Spain now. We must stop the gays with their weapons of mass destruction. We must bring them to their knees. Tom Cruise, everybody, what do you think? Is he really a Scientologist? What do you think, everybody? I have my doubts. Tom Cruise had a reading disorder. Scientology cured him of it, but now he's gay. So, how bad do you want to read, I guess is the question. It's different for everyone. The new Pope, what do you think? Too early to form an opinion? I agree. He doesn't make many appearances, right? The new Pope. The old guy was popping up, even when he was dying, right? They'd wheel him out there. It was like a Hitchcock film. He was there, and then he was gone. It was like a whodunit. Remember that? That was kind of a weird time, like the Pope was dying. Michael Jackson was on trial. It was like tough times for the pedophilia industry, huh? I tell you, when it rains, it pours. I think Michael Jackson gets too much press, you know? Because he's one guy. One guy. The Catholic Church is like the fucking Microsoft of pedophilia. Giants in the industry. He's running a mom and pop operation with like a Ferris wheel, couple llamas. I mean, come on. Bush isn't that popular right now. I didn't vote for him. I voted for Kerry. I'm still getting emails from him too. It's kind of pathetic. You know, it's like, there's still work to be done. I'm like, delete. Not by me. I find Bush amusing on some level, you know, like, you know, I think his heart's in the right place. Like during the Scheibel case, him and his brother, right, tried to get involved. Jeb and W tried to come riding in like the Dukes of Hazzard. Yeehaw, we're gonna put that feeding tube back in. What the Bush boys didn't know is there's a constitution. Bush, Kerry, and Nader, those are the choices. Although Nader, you know when you take a multiple choice exam and they tell you to immediately rule out one choice, it's fucking crazy. That's Nader. It's like the square root of 324 is A, 32, B, 18, C, chocolate. Oh, I know it's not chocolate. That's Nader. A lot of problems though, right? Racism's still a problem. You ever see those racism public service announcements that they do? Where they have like an athlete speak out against racism, but they'll make it specific to their sport. Like a boxer will say, we gotta knock out racism. Or a basketball player will say, we gotta slam dunk racism. I wanna do one of those except as a comedian. I'll be like, racism's not funny. Except in small groups of close personal friends and family. Keep it where it belongs. Sometimes racism's a little funny. Depends on the situation. Like I was walking down the street the other day, here in New York. I saw something I had never seen before. I saw a taxi cab that actually turned out to be an undercover police vehicle. Sirens, lights, the whole 9 yards. I thought to myself, wow, finally a cab that'll pick up a brother. Now, that's a little racist, but a lot funny. So, the struggle continues. Hope everybody has been doing their part for Haiti, and by that I mean text messaging. That's what we do now in a crisis. When we hear that there's been an international disaster, we stop what we're doing, pick up our phones, press like 8 buttons, and then we go back to whatever we were doing. That's what we do. We text Haiti. That's our contribution. We don't even like attach pictures or anything of like
This is how good we have it. Send. Text messaging. It's funny, isn't it? It's like, dude, I'm really torn up about this Haiti thing, man. Is it anything we can do? Have you heard anything? Yeah, well, you could probably start a clothing drive, food drive, something like that. Nah, anything else? You must have heard something we could do. Well, you could text Haiti to 90999. Yeah, I'm gonna do that because I'm really torn up, like I said. Gotta get involved. And this is the first crisis that we could do that. I haven't heard that before. Like a few years ago, we couldn't text tsunami. I mean, come on. They would have raised like $8. Like, nobody knows how to spell tsunami. I think there's a T in it somewhere. Lately, I've been angry at Oprah Winfrey. Because I'm tired of her shit. She just keeps lying to us, First, it was the James Fry memoir, A Million Little Pieces. Did you hear about that one? Turns out it's fake. Then more recently, this Holocaust love story. Did you hear about this one? She had it featured on her show. Boy and a girl, Nazi Germany, concentration camp, like 5 years old. The girl throws an apple over the fence every day. I'm not a lefty, that's why I looked weird. But she was a girl. This girl throws an apple over the fence every day to keep the boy alive. They separate for like 50 years, meet up in New York City on a blind date, completely random. He tells her the story. She's like, oh my God, guess what? I was that girl. Turns out the whole thing's bullshit. The Holocaust never happened. And I have had it with Oprah. Everything she endorses is fake. And I'm worried because she endorsed Barack. Yeah, if it turns out he's not really half white, I am gonna be fucking pissed. Barack, I love him, man. I love his whole family. His wife, Michelle, his daughters, Rudy and Vanessa. That little Rudy is liable to say anything. The president, half black. Sometimes we forget how amazing that is. Nobody thought it was possible. Think back. 2 years ago? Nobody thought it was possible that America would elect a half-black man president, but he believed. Something inside him told him it was possible, and I call that his half-white side. Barack. Man, it's exciting, historic. Still takes some getting used to, though. It's almost like when you see a woman bus driver. It's like, she can drive the bus, but you're like, really? I guess I'll get on. See where she goes. Not only is Barack Obama our first black president, but it's the end of white presidents forever. Because you know what they say. Some people were nervous about voting for him. His middle name's Hussein. They said maybe that's a terrorist name. Which is ridiculous because one of America's most influential and respected judges has the last name Abdul, Paula Abdul. I wonder if we'll have a woman president someday. Maybe half woman. Seems like we like to ease into these things. Little dick, little puss. Something for everyone. You know who I think the forgotten hero is in the Barack Obama story? I think it's his mother. Think about the unlikelihood of a white woman in 1960s Kansas getting impregnated by a black Kenyan man. And keeping the baby. That's even crazier than Jesus. It's like, whoa, hold on a second. I can believe that God impregnated the Virgin Mary. That makes perfect sense. But this Kansas Kenyan bullshit. What do I look like, an idiot? Who could she even tell? She was a young girl, a teenager. She's gonna call up her girlfriends like, hello, Sheila, you got a second? Yeah, of course. We live in Kansas. Okay, I'll just get right to it. I'm pregnant. Oh my God. Whose is it? Timothy's? No. Jonathan's? I wish. Some other white name? No. You remember that Kenyan guy, Barack? What the? I thought he just fingered you. Nah, we fucked. You're not gonna keep it, are you? Yeah, I am. I have a feeling he's gonna be president someday. President? He can't even vote. I did not write the end of that joke. History did. Tiger Woods has been in the news, although it's kind of calming down a little bit now. I read he's in sex rehab now. Good for him, you know. Guess he's trying to put his life back together. Although Tiger is kind of an unfortunate name to have when you're in sex rehab. Hello, my name is Tiger and I'm a sex addict. Hello, Tiger. I feel the same way about the Tiger Woods story as I do about golf. It's none of my business. And I think a grown man should never, under any circumstances, be called Tiger. You're an adult, you've got a wife and kids, your name is Eldrick. I'd like people to call me Shazam, but it's not realistic. You have to grow up at some point. Gay marriage has been at the forefront as well. I think for a lot of people it comes down to language, you know, like the definition of the term marriage. Marriage is between a man and a woman. Okay. There was a time when fiancé was between a French man and a French woman. Now anyone can do it. Isn't that disgusting? Dumbledore, it turns out, is a gay. The author, J.K. Rowling, sent out a press release saying that the character Dumbledore in Harry Potter is homosexual. Some people lost their minds, couldn't believe it. I can't believe he's gay. I'm like, really? You can't believe he's gay, but you can believe he's a wizard? Gay people actually exist. Gay people have their own flag, the rainbow flag. Nobody ever burns that flag, though. That wouldn't be much of a protest to see a flaming gay flag. It's more of a show of support, really. Pirates have been back in the news. Sometimes you just like, you get startled when you see things. Pirates, you know, like, I didn't see that one coming. The Renaissance Fair people must be licking their chops like, perhaps we're next, my lord. I've been waiting a fortnight, my lady. Pirates. That is ridiculous. I don't even know how you how do you apply to be a pirate? Just show up at a pier and wait? I feel like I would make the same mistake a lot of people would. I'd just show up with like eye patch, hook, leather boots folded over once. Maybe they'd laugh at me right off the pier, like, what the fuck are you doing? I'd be like, what do you mean? I'm a pirate. They'd be like, we don't dress like that. Sorry, it's my first day. Rap, first day. Got the Winter Olympics now. Yeah, nobody really cares about those, right? Not too much, anyway. They always try to make us care. They give us like this, you know, the human side of people. I mean, we know they're human, but we don't care. Then they tell us something about them, like somebody in their family died or whatever. Then we're like, all right, I'll watch this guy on a sled. It's the Winter Olympics, you know. We don't really care. That's just one of our seasons. They have Summer Olympics, Winter. They should have. I think they should have the Fall Olympics. That'd be good. It's like, okay, you're a good swimmer, but how do you do with leaves in the pool? It's a bit of a challenge, isn't it? Even if you win, you pop up, you got shit all over you. It's kind of disgusting. One time I got a blowjob from a girl wearing a "What Would Jesus Do" bracelet. Yeah. Man, talk about a good Friday. Luckily, she was good. That would have been awkward if I had to correct her. Jesus would use less teeth. Jesus would work the balls. Jesus would work the balls? I have no way of knowing that. That is a question for Bible scholars. And perhaps priests. Oh, that's where the joke gets offensive? Whoa, we're okay with Jesus teabagging it. Just leave Father Flaherty the fuck out of it. Tough year, man. Financial crisis. Countries are going down. Iceland, bankrupt. Iceland. If it could happen to Iceland, you know what that means. It could happen to Greenland. Who would have thought Iceland would go bankrupt before Flava Flav? Life is unpredictable. Man, you know it's a bad year when the most uplifting news story we had all year was a plane crash. Sully, right? It's like, oh, thank God, finally. Finally, a feel-good plane crash. You got to go to the Super Bowl. You know, the other pilots had to be like, what the fuck? You know, I landed the plane at the airport. You got any tickets for the dry pilots? A lot of celebrities have been dropping. By dropping, I mean dying. Like they're gone from the planet. Michael Jackson, Patrick Swayze. I wonder if Whoopi Goldberg can still communicate with him. Do you think it's possible? I hope so. Tell him we miss him. Tiger Woods came back to the Masters. That was when he first came back. He hadn't golfed in, I think it was like 4 months. Didn't touch a club. Came back at the Masters, and on the first day, he was in 3rd place. I think that proves once and for all that golf is not a sport. By the way, the 2 people that were ahead of him, one was 50 years old, the other was 60. That is not a sport when you're competing with senior citizens. It's an activity to keep from dying. I remember there was a golfer several years ago. His name was Casey Martin. He was, world-class PGA golfer. But he had some sort of leg condition. I think it was like a circulatory problem where his leg kept him from being able to walk around the course. He needed a golf cart in order to get around. But the PGA ruled that out. They said, no, walking is part of our sport. Walking. I think the real reason was like, holy shit, we can't have a fucking handicapped guy competing. We already got like a 60-year-old dude. Somebody, any suggestion, like a walking rule? Yeah, that's a good. You can't have the gimp competing. Golf takes itself so seriously, and plus, they have this illusion now that Tiger Woods is golfing that golf is for everyone. There's only one black guy. And he happens to be the best on the planet. That's how he got in the door. Come on, let's make a list of the mediocre black golfers. Done. That did not take long at all. But they have this like self-reverential tone, like, the Masters. Tiger Woods returns to the Masters. A tradition unlike any other. I'm like, really? A lot of white guys and one black guy? That sounds like a lot of traditions. Thank you. Wow. Thank you. I read that Tiger Woods' wife stands to make $500 million in the divorce settlement. That'll take the sting out of divorce. I'm not suggesting that money can cure the pain of divorce or infidelity. I'm saying $500 million can. That specific amount. That can do it. Haiti has it bad. It's a real place, Haiti. They have it bad, man. They have it so bad that we have to make up terms like the third world. There's only one world. We're like, no, there's a reason they have it so bad. They're not in our world. Oh, well, that explains it. I had no idea. Maybe they'll figure out a way to join our world. And we skipped over the second world while we were at it. We're like, you know what? It's kind of fucked up. Let's go right to the third. Haiti's so poor, they only have one cell phone. 90999. Text them, man. They'll get it. Maybe they'll win the third World Cup. The oil spills fucked up in the Gulf, you know, we got, I feel bad for New Orleans. First Katrina, now the oil spill. I'm starting to think that God hates jazz. Even more than the record-buying public. But I feel bad for presidents, too, like any president. I feel bad because there's always these unforeseen things that come up during, somebody's presidency. And I think any politician, they're human beings. They get into public service because they want to serve the public. They want to help. Like Obama didn't see this oil spill coming. There's no way, Bush didn't see Katrina or 9/11 coming, even though he was warned repeatedly about both of them. George Bush, what happened to him, man? He's kind of laying low. George Bush is loved in parts of America and hated throughout the rest of the world. It's like the exact opposite of David Hasselhoff. Most of my friends are married now, Most of my peers, they're married, they have kids. They all say the same thing. They say, Ted, it's amazing. When you have a kid, it changes everything. And I believe them because we're not friends anymore. I don't want to hang out with a 4-year-old. They always bring him along, you got to talk to him. I got nothing to say. I don't think it's weird for me to say as a 41-year-old man that I don't want to hang out with a 4-year-old. It's a big age difference. It would be weird if I made plans with my friends and I was like, you're bringing the 4-year-old, right? That would be weird. I was at the gym. I like watching the old guys at the gym. They never really use the machines for what they're supposed to be for. It could be like a bicep machine. The guy's got his head in there. It's like, I guess he knows what he's doing. Why is he wearing dress shoes? I was walking down the street in New York. I saw a man, a human man, who very suddenly and very urgently began doing bird calls. 3 times in succession, this is what I heard. Mind you, I am not an ornithologist. This is just my approximation. Caw-caw, caw-caw, caw-caw. We were not in the forest. We were on Broadway. I thought to myself, either this guy is fucking crazy or he knows something. And you can't be sure which it is until it's too late and the fucking birds are already on you. And that guy's running off laughing. Caw-caw, caw-caw. I'm like, you were right. I should have listened. But moments like that, living in New York, are what make me think that it's kind of absurd that we have a homeland security strategy that's based around the concept, if you see something, say something. That was definitely something. But I said nothing. That's what we do as New Yorkers. We see shit all day long. We say absolutely nothing. That's how you get through your day. If you had to say something every time you saw something, you wouldn't make it 5 feet out of your home. You'd just be saying something, saying something, saying something. That's kind of an awkward phone call to make. Like, yeah, hello, I just saw something. There's a guy doing bird calls on Broadway, and you told me to say something. That's too vague a command, too. If you see something, say something. Because, really, it's kind of an invitation to bigotry. Because the subtext there is, you know what we mean when we say something, right? We're all clear on that? We all know what kind of accent something has, right? We all know how much something loves Allah, right? What's it called? Just had the 10-year anniversary of 9/11. I was reading this article that said, I guess I knew this, but in reading it, like, just drove it home that just 10 years ago we didn't have YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter, and how much that would have changed, like, the way that we experienced that day. People would have been sharing videos, photos, probably after the first plane hit, before we even knew it was terrorism. People would have shared those photos, and some people probably would have liked it. Would have been early in the technology. You couldn't even unlike it. It's like, way to go, asshole. Way to like 9/11. I am definitely going to say something. But all politicians are shady, man. I think it's because they're rich. You know, like, politician is not a job that you need. It's not a job that you're, like, hoping you get, like, with your fingers crossed, because you got to pay your rent. Like, oh yeah, I'm waiting to hear back from Chipotle and the Senate. It's going to be tight this month. The Olympics are over. They ran out of medals. So that's how they end it. There are, if you didn't watch it, it's an international competition. All the countries gather. The good ones, the good countries, you know. The ones we know. And a few extra that end in Stan. And they just all, everybody goes, and then you compete. Different sports. They have 3 podiums, different sizes. The country that wins goes in the highest. They give you a gold medal. And then they play that country's favorite song. And that's the Olympics. There was a guy, I was watching, there was a guy that was running, he was a runner for the United States of America, and he had pretend legs. I think they were made of titanium. I don't know. That's just a guess. I've heard that word associated with pretend legs before. So I'm just throwing that out as additional information that you probably don't even need, but that's, you know, that's just me proving that I know something about pretend legs. I don't know. Maybe they weren't even made in the United States of America, which would bring up a whole other issue. Where were his pretend legs made? And should that country get a portion of the credit? Makes sense, right? But here's what happened with this guy. The other athletes, at first when they asked them, do you mind if the guy with pretend legs runs? Of course, they were like, yeah, of course, yeah. We'll fucking... Please, get as many people with pretend legs as you can. We're fine with that. But then what happened was the guy with the pretend legs was better than the people with real legs. And they were like, whoa, whoa. We thought about it, and now we don't want the guy with pretend legs to join in our reindeer games. And the reason was they said that his pretend legs gave him an unfair advantage. My question is, if having no legs gives you an unfair advantage, how committed are you to winning? It's a very simple procedure. Just cut them off. Cut them off. Put on those things that make you go like this. And you win an Olympic medal. You know, it's good for running, but the problem is in between Olympics you have to walk around like this. So there are pros and cons to consider, like with everything. Michael Phelps came back to swim again this time. I think it was his last time. But you never know. Maybe he'll feel like swimming again. They're just swimmers. That's all they are, those people that go in the pool. And they swim. They take it real seriously, you know? Everyone in the Olympics is very competitive. So sometimes I just feel like... just relax, you know? Like if I was the swimming coach, I would just like huddle everybody up and say, all right, listen up. It's just a pool. Just go in the pool. Splash around. So, it was that philosophy that cut my coaching career short. But Michael Phelps won, I think he won maybe 8 gold medals the last time. And then this time he won 4 gold medals. And the only difference was in between he smoked pot. So I think that's an important lesson for all kids that, you know, if you smoke pot, you're only going to win 4 gold medals. So, is it worth it?
Why is it that every athlete who takes drugs is the best in the world at what they do? I think we're being lied to about drugs. I want to be told the whole story. Right? It's always this ominous kind of message. It'll ruin your life. Good. I'll pick up the pieces with my 8 gold medals. Right? Michael Phelps didn't seem to slow him down much. All his sponsors dropped him. Wheaties, they dropped him because they said they were disappointed in his conduct. If I was him, I'd be like, really? You're disappointed in me? Who the fuck are you? I am the king of water. How dare you question what I do on dry land? Breakfast of champions. Whatever I eat for breakfast is the breakfast of champions. This morning it was cookie dough. Swimmers have changed too, man. And they're all shaved now, right? They're like beautiful babies in the water swimming around. Wasn't always like that. Mark Spitz, the guy whose record he broke, you see him? He had like an afro, mustache, chest hair, pubes popping out of his suit. It's like a porn star, right? Just came right from an orgy. Hang the medals right on his cock. I've never been to an orgy, but if I was there and there was a guy with 7 gold medals on his cock, I'm gonna make some chit chat. One way or another, I'm leaving that party with a gold medal. Just for the story.
I was listening to some holiday music over the holidays. I was just driving in my car, and some like a classical station, I guess it was, was playing boys' choir music. And it occurred to me that that's a type of music. Like there are fans of boys' choir music. There's probably even like a convention. Boys choir. There's like people that go to a store and say, "Do you have any boys choir music?" Well, we have a choir section. It's in the rear. No, I'm looking for boys choir. Would that also be in the rear? That was just luck that worked out that way. I didn't even plan that part of it. It's just a dependable in the rear joke. Boys choir music should not be a type of music anymore. I predict the end of that. Effective immediately. That should not be allowed anymore in this age of people fucking boys. You shouldn't be able to get a whole group of them singing together, for God's sakes. Because if you love to fuck them, you probably like to hear them sing. Little foreplay kind of thing. Tell me that wouldn't, if you liked it, picture me as a little boy right now. And you're the choir director who wants to fuck me. Right? I don't know if that deserves an applause break, but it was a good joke, I guess. Boys choir? Because why does it have to be boys? Everyone sounds the same at that age. You can throw a few girls in there. Like, no, it must be boys. They're just so pristine and they're still unhairy bodies, or just the way they... Boys choir. That should end. And what else are the other ones that were kind of weird to me? Slave songs is another form of music. Maybe that should kind of stop. I simply love slave songs. I could listen to them all day. I own thousands of slave songs. I just love owning them. Just the way it is. It takes a little bit of imagination, but I can almost picture the slaves working as they sing. It's very powerful. I have a visceral reaction every time I press play and I hear the slave songs. Can't explain it, nor should I have to. And the other one is Negro spirituals. That's like a type of music. I think Negro spirituals, just call them something else. I feel like Negro is like the other N-word. It's like the one you're allowed to say. And it's a fun word. Like, imagine using that word in any other way but Negro spirituals. You really can't. Can you describe the man that parked your car? He was a Negro. Was he singing? As a matter of fact, yes, he was. Negro spirituals has got to stop. I wonder if there's a boys' choir that sings Negro spirituals. That will be my new project. I read something that Michelle Bachmann said, that she prays for gay people to not be gay. And I thought, that sounds a lot like saying, I hate gay people. It's like praying is the new hate. It's kind of a regurgitation of the old God hates fag sentiment that's been around forever. But you gotta admit, that's like a catchy poster. Whenever you see that, it's like, it's so succinct. Hatred always makes such a good poster. Like the way that I feel about God and homosexuality would not make a good poster. It would have like parentheses and shit. It'd be like, God, if there is a God, feels the same exact way about homosexuality as he or she does about heterosexuality. And furthermore, even if he or she does have a favorite, he or she probably would not use the word fags. It's a horrible poster. You can't march with that. You're like, oh, somebody get the bottom for me. No, really, I think it makes an important point. I think you just like who you like. I think you know it from a very young age. I remember being in like kindergarten, first grade, seeing certain girls in my class and thinking, oh, I hope she's never absent. That was as far as the thought went. I didn't know what it meant. I wanted her in the building. Maybe there was a little boy thinking the same thing about me. I can only hope I let him on just enough to break his gay little heart. It's a long road. You gotta toughen him up. I don't like when people tell me that their baby is flirting with me. You know, like a baby will smile at me. The parent's like, oh, she's such a flirt. I don't know how to tell you this, but I don't want to fuck your baby. I feel like it's inappropriate of them to even suggest that. Because what if I was to be like, you know, I'm so glad you said that because I thought your baby was flirting with me. And I was like, am I crazy? Is this baby into me? So thank you for the green light with your baby. I think what they're actually saying is, I hope my baby is heterosexual. Because if a boy baby was smiling at me, I don't think they'd be like, well, looks like we got a gay baby. Look at him, he can't stop flirting. Sure he's not just smiling? No, he's gay. All right. Sometimes people will try to be supportive of gay marriage or gay rights, but you can tell they're not really comfortable with it. You know, they'll say things like, who cares? Just marry whoever you want. I don't care. I don't need to know. Who cares? That's not really supportive. Have you ever gone to a wedding and handed the bride and groom a card that says, who cares? Maybe you should care. It's more supportive. I had a weird experience. You ever have something where like you realize something about yourself, just like in a moment, and it surprises you? I was walking down the street, and there's a gay couple walking towards me, two men holding hands, and I felt nervous. Not because I think there's anything wrong with gay people or I'm anti-gay. It's because I'm pro-gay, and I wanted to convey that in some way. And then I'm like, don't look at them. Don't stare, but somehow let them know. You know, I wanted to be like, make out if you want, I'm cool with it. But then I'm like, but that's, just act like they're normal. But they are normal. What do you mean normal? Fuck you, you know what I mean. You're me. By then they were already passed and I blew it. I blew my big shot with two gay guys. Gay people have their own flag, of course, the rainbow flag. Nobody ever burns that flag, though. That wouldn't be much of a protest to see a flaming gay flag. It's more of a show of support, really.
Well, I guess I should tell you that I recently became a godfather, which was very exciting. My brother and his wife had a baby boy. They asked me if I would be the godfather. I did not realize during the ceremony you have to renew your baptismal vows in front of the whole congregation. So what they do is they call you up on the altar, they start firing questions at you. Do you reject Satan? I do. And all his works? I'm not familiar with all his works. But I'm not a fan. Good night, guys. You've been great. Take care of yourselves. All right.